Hey guys, hope everyone's doing good. Quick little update for you guys. I've been chipping away at the car, getting some stuff done. Finally starting to get some stuff together. I've got front suspensions all bolted together. Obviously, everything's painted. I've got the alignment half-assed roughed in. I did end up messing around with that for probably about a week after work and stuff. I had to fight some issues with the camber curve. I was just getting way too much camber change throughout the travel. So I did a couple little tricks to fix that, and I had to step it back down to the 1/2 inch longer ball joint, which I did end up losing a little bit of travel, which is not what I want to do. But I think if I get one of the billet ball joints, I should be able to get that back. And a few little problems with the bump steer, but I don't think I'm going to get it any better than what it is. But I'm going to wait till everything's all back together before I really start messing with it anymore. So I've been putting everything together, and I'm really trying to focus on keeping the weight down, really focusing on using the right length hardware. I've been getting a little creative with the lathe, cut down a lot of the nuts, a lot of the bigger nuts, and a lot of the bigger bolts, just shave the heads down. Just making sure that everything is basically the exact length that it needs to be. Anything more than like a thread or two hanging out, I'm definitely going to be cutting them down, trying to save what I can. Just kind of an example of what I've been cutting off. Doesn't look like much, it is time consuming, but every little bit adds up. That's just, that's like some 5/16 bolts with a couple of 1/2 inch ones in there. So this is basically the same as my old control arm bolts with what I cut off. I forgot to measure the original bolts before I started chopping and grinding on them, but that's basically what it is. I think actually my originals were just a touch longer than these ones to begin with. So this is probably just a touch on the light side, but it's about 495 grams. And these are what I'm going to run now. So heads have been cut down a bit thinner. And it's pretty much right on about 405 grams. You can see on the control arm bolts just how much that I saved. Again, might not seem like much, but if you go over the whole car front to back like that, it's all that little bit of weight is going to add up into bigger numbers. So definitely picking away at that. I also ended up going on a little road trip. I found some brakes on Marketplace. It was about a 13-hour round trip, but made the trip. So I got some nice TBM front and rear brakes on it now. And the fronts, I didn't video it, but I did weigh them compared to my old ones. And they were like 5 pounds lighter per side. The rears, I actually forgot to weigh them. The rears are probably another 2 or 3 lighter per side. The fronts were so much since I went from a 4-piston caliper to a 2-piston. And the rears were actually off a 12-bolt Chevy. So I did have to mess around there a little bit. End up cutting down the rotor hats to get the right brake offset that I needed. The holes were actually tapped out long enough that I could just shave off what I needed, and worked out perfectly. And I just bought the brackets from TBM, so I bolted them right on my 9-inch. So those are all on. Obviously, I got all the brake lines and everything all done. Brakes are all bled. Everything is working in the brake department, so it should be good there. I got the parachute all on. It was basically just bolt on. My bracket and everything worked. So that's all on. I'm going to mess with this a little more to make it a little easier to wind that spring up. But so far it's looking really good. I'm really happy with that. Last 2 days I pulled the pan off, did a bearing check on the engine. And actually I had 3 rod bearings that were not in great shape. So ended up changing those. I did actually have a spare set of rod bearings here. So stole a few out of the set and threw them in there. Mains all look good. Crank thrust is exactly where I set it a few years ago. So everything's looking good there. And I also tore into the transmission. I wanted to check that out quick because it's been together for 2 full seasons. I wanted to check the clutches out because I have had problems with the intermediate clutches before. Everything's looking perfect. That there is just a pressure plate, which I've got another steel stacked on top of it. That was from before when I was having issues. And the way I got it stacked up right now with that steel on top of it, not an issue. So everything's looking good. My plan is hopefully get the engine stuff wrapped up this weekend. I want to get the engine back in the car this weekend, and I want to get the transmission fully disassembled so I can get anything ordered that I need, which so far is not looking like much. The other thing I did was I sent my rear shocks out to AFCO to get the extension valving tightened up a little bit. So hopefully when I get onto some front side stuff, I can tighten it up a little more and hopefully put a bit more power to it on the line. So chipping away at it, like I say, just going at it hard here, trying to get it done. It'd be nice to get the car running in the next couple weeks. At this point, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and have a good one, guys.